Hello, I'm Katrina, and this is Katie.
Hi, I'm Katie.
And we are representing Wisdom House Collaborative and just sharing our experience with mindfulness. So, for Wisdom House Collaborative, I teach some of the middle school classes in the public schools and with one of the adult classes at Heartland Family Services, where I teach mindfulness to all sorts of people who are trying to take mindfulness back to their own organizations.
And I do also teach for the Heartland Family Services, and I taught last year with the Brownell Talbot 7th grade class. And so that was a part of Wisdom House as well.
Yes. And I think it's cool that we come from other teaching backgrounds before teaching mindfulness.
Right.
I taught elementary school, 3rd grade, 4th grade, special education, ESL, both in the public school setting, private school setting, in the US and abroad. And you come from a whole skew of teaching experience as well.
Yes, I've been teaching at the college level for many years. I taught at UNO in Creighton, but I've been at Metro Community College for the last half of my career, like 17 years. And I teach English there, all kinds of English, and I direct the writing centers where we talk to people with individualized projects. So yeah, most of my teaching has been at the college level.
Very cool. And so how did you find mindfulness?
I discovered mindfulness when I saw a flyer that said Intro to Basic Mindfulness out of the Center for Mindful Living. Dan Widener was the teacher, and it was in 2012. And I had no idea what it meant, and I didn't know how to sit still, so meditation wasn't exactly what drew me, but it did say something that this is a way to relieve suffering. And I was in a dark place in my life, and I thought, wow, I'll try it. And I went in there, and it really literally changed my life. I don't say that lightly. And so I found it, and I've really been practicing it ever since.
That's awesome. For me, I found mindfulness when I was a 4th grade teacher, and we had a BIST, Behavior Intervention Support Team consultant, who visited our elementary school, who was helping all of us teachers with classroom management strategies and how to deal with difficult behaviors. And she came into every single classroom, modeled a mindfulness techniques that was called TAPS, that I used and made me a calmer, better teacher. I saw a huge difference in my students with having greater focus and productivity after these, and less squabbles amongst students.
Big.
And then I took that when I was teaching overseas in Greece, and to me it was just common because I had done that in the US, but all of these people started asking, what is this? How did you get so-and-so to get this work done? How did you get so-and-so to work with his peers? And so that was something that was very clear to me, is that no matter what the setting was, or the age group, or cultural background, or that everyone was showing these same benefits of, oh my gosh, they're able to produce more work, they're happier, they're asking for mindfulness practices.
So cool. I've had the same experience of having people, no matter where they come from, come to this work and this practice and get the same benefits. Because I've told Erin before, but I was teaching in the same week on a Tuesday. I teach in the Douglas County Correctional Center in the women's unit, and that's through another local organization. Teach mindfulness, and then I was teaching on Thursdays in the junior high, and was really moved and touched and surprised by how sometimes the same topic was just received, and it just felt like we were having the same conversation. So it doesn't matter where your troubles or where you start from. I think it's really been cool for me to see that what we have to offer is so universal, and that our need to be happy, or our need to get rid of suffering and just want to be happy, is the same whether you're just stressed out about a STEM test or you're trying to get out of prison, And it's super cool because it's something we all have inside of us, and it just feels like a real gift to get to offer that to all these different people.
Yes. So how about you personally? What have been some of your personal biggest benefits that you've noticed from your mindfulness practices?
I would say I think probably the greatest area in my life where I've benefited is teaching. And also being a parent, which are maybe in the same category, but places where you think you should have some control and you really don't always, and it helps to really just be with what's there and not want it to be something else. And I've learned so much. I think I'm a better teacher, parent, friend, everything, for taking my expectations out and my hope for the outcome and really just being with what is. In those moments. So that's good. And my sister also, this is kind of a funny story, my sister went to a class that Jonathan, who I also work with at Mindfulness Outreach Initiative, was teaching. And he was talking about right speech and how we really try to not talk about people or be gossipy or, say things that are not good. And my sister, who knows very little about mindfulness, raised her hand, and said, you know what, my sister really doesn't talk like that anymore. She used to before she learned mindfulness, but I really think that's changed her in ways. And so that was kind of good. I really think a little bit more and try to be more skillful in my speech. How about you?
As far as personal benefits, when I learned the attitudes of mindfulness, especially things such as compassion, and non-judgment, I was realizing that a lot of times and especially me, it's easier to notice how we treat others, but we forget about being non-judgmental with ourselves and practicing that self-compassion. And I was able to realize through things like, readings and podcasts and the mindfulness-based stress reduction class that, oh my gosh, even when I'm doing something that's gentle, that brings me peace, like yoga, I'm judging myself on, I can normally balance longer or hold this for longer. And just I'm so much more aware of the things that I say to myself. And I can relate these different attitudes of mindfulness, of seeing things like, okay, compassion is a method for healing judgment. And I have this calmer state overall that I've noticed and other people have brought up, of things like, I'm not irritated by the fact that I'm stuck in this traffic jam, or that I'm somewhere out in public and there's a screaming child. It's like, okay. And sometimes it takes other people to notice that. I'm like, that is different. But I would say that self-compassion especially is such a huge thing. Yeah. And that radiating, I am enough, as is.
Right. I totally agree. And going through that helps us to be better teachers of others, to have been aware of our own limits in self-compassion. So I totally agree with that. That's been a good thing.
Yes, I've been able to I was very much a rigid, self-conscious, perfectionist kid, and I've been able to let go of some of those perfectionist tendencies and just kind of develop this mindset. Okay, done is better than perfect. I'm human. Yeah. These human qualities. It's not just me dealing with this. This is humans in general deal with all of these things that I might beat myself up for losing something or losing a temper or regretting something I said, etc.
Yeah, no, I totally love that. One of the things that I've spent a lot of time on in mindfulness, you can't change your experience, but you can change your relationship to it, is my relationship to my to-do list. And I think it has a lot to do with the perfectionism you're talking about. And it's really just helped me to be more realistic and more accepting of my own, not limitations, but just, realistic life, and I still get plenty done, but I don't let it rule me.
Yes.
So that's been awesome too. It's good, but I couldn't even list all the ways that it's benefited me positively.
Yes. I would say, especially breaking down barriers. I mean, before I started my journey a couple years ago, I would have never ever imagined recording myself. That was something that was difficult. And then within the recent year and a half or so, I started making, adaptive yoga videos and mindfulness videos and stuff like that, where I allowed my mission to spread what I believe in be stronger than my self-consciousness, and realizing this doesn't have to be scripted. I can just be my natural
so cool.
me
Yeah.
and share whatever my truth is.
Yeah, which is cool because you're living it. You're feeling it. It's not like you're teaching something that you just learned. You're really emitting it, and I totally get it. I feel the same way.
All right.
So it's awesome.
Yes, we have so much more to share about. Well, this is plenty for this first one. Thank you.